This is why I said the most critical season of your life is not when you are fasting, it's after the fasting. After the fasting and prayer, Lord, am I positioned? Am I positioned? Am I positioned? If there is a time to pray more, it is right after your fast, because you're going to speak a lot of positioning into your life. You're going to say, and when the men sit down, give to the men that are set down. Lift up your right hand with a loud voice, thunder, my Father, my Father. Say, set me right for what you are about to do. I need you to say it again. Say, my Father, set me right, set me right, set me right for what you are about to do. If you believe it, thunder louder, amen. As your two hands are lifted, wherever you go this week, at the sound of your amen, the Lord will set you right. 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 Let your amen thunder. Don't just sit, be set. Let me say it again. Don't just sit, be set. They might be sitting, but they are set. Once you rid yourself of anxiety, people of God, get set. Anything can happen at any time. Am I communicating? Set yourself for what is about to happen. And I need to say this. Jesus speaks over the 5 loaves and 2 fishes, right? And then when he was done, he looks at his disciples and gave them and said to them, give to these other ones. Jesus, being God himself, blessed it. The idea behind it was to give. You better get this, because some of us need to receive sense. The idea behind it was to give to the people, but he gave it to the disciples and said, give them. Sir, be wise that at that moment the disciples became deciders of destiny. Don't insult a man that has your bread, because you can lose years. He said, give to them. Some of you don't understand. It's not everybody you see that you talk behind their back. Some of them may not look like it. They've got your bread. There are words you don't say. There are things you don't say. There are things you should never be found to do. I don't know whether you're getting what I'm saying. Because even though God made your bread, he will not give it to you directly. There are men who God has ordained. Lord, I'm expecting the day you will do this. Sir, there are helpers that will never come to you. They will come through some men to help you. Receive sense. Receive sense. There are some things that you are praying and say, God, let it come upon my business. It will never come. But God can introduce a man into your life that is not interested in that your business, but yet God will use him to help you. You see, God has already ordained to give them bread, but he was going to give it to some men. The men that have your bread, don't argue with them. The men that have your bread, don't do your shoulder like this. I know the God I'm serving. I know the God can do anything. He's not nobody. You are not God. You are not God. You are not God. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Don't be like that. Do you hear what I just said? People of God, I always will say to people, by all means, don't burn a bridge, because you don't know when you will need it. By all means, don't say to anyone, who do you think you are? Sir, there are men, if they've been with God, fear them. They have bread for a generation. If they've spent time with God, fear them. You have no idea. I always will tell this story, and let me say it again. Some of you, I don't know what I've told you here, but I'll use this story to end. Many years ago, in a local church, there was a church that was experiencing wonders, manifestations of God like never before. People of God, things were going on in that church. But there was this very old woman who nobody paid attention to, who was a member of that church. This woman was in her 80s. But for a decade, the church was experiencing so much move of God. Until one day, the woman died. And all of a sudden, the whole wonders, the whole miracles that were happening in the church ceased. People began to ask, what is going on? What is going on? The nakedness of the pastor was exposed. So people knew that he wasn't that powerful. He went back to prayer and went to ask God, what happened? And then God told him that that woman that died has been the one holding your ministry with her intercession for the past 10 years. Sir, if they've been with God, they might just be carrying your bread. Not everyone you see that you fight with. If they've been with God, chances are that they are carrying your bread. It's not everywhere you see, you shake your head. No, sir. Be more humble. Have understanding. Do you understand? Have more honor in you. People of God, men carry bread. Even though God has ordained bread for you, he will route it through a man. Honor the man so that your bread can finally enter your hands. Did I make sense? Rise on your feet wherever you are.